Alright, so someone asked me to do a highly suspect type of tutorial, specifically from this album right here, which is great because 𝗕𝗘𝗠𝗓 is on that album, and that is my favorite highly suspect song. So we're gonna do like a sort of half recreation. I don't want to keep it too similar. I also don't know the guitar part, so I'm not gonna just recreate the song, but I'm gonna make a beat that's quite similar to it. First things first, I did do a bit of work yesterday recreating some tones, so I'm gonna go through that right now. Anything I can put up on the store, I will. So that'll be like the guitar tones from 𝗕𝗘𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘 that I created, or the bass tone, or everything else we come up with on the way. So let's just quickly go through this guitar tone. Everything in here can be recreated with the bass version of 𝗕𝗘𝗄. So we got the blues driver, the fuzz face, or the fuzz race, the Centuria, and it's going into a Tweed Deluxe with a R121 and an SM57 on the cab. After that, we just go into some EQ, and it sounds like this. Which is pretty good. It does need some room reverb. We'll get into that in just a second. I just want to go over the next tone we have, which is right here. It's kind of the same thing. It doesn't have a blues driver or the Centurion. It just has the Tube 9, the TS-808, the Tube Screamer, whatever you want to call it, into a fuzz face, into the Tweed with these settings, and the same sort of cab settings, and just a little bit of a different EQ. That sounds like this. Which is good. It still needs some reverb, so let's talk about that right now. I'm going to send these to my first send, about that much, and on my first send I have a Sound City Studios. It's set to the guitar, it's set to reverb only. These are the settings for the rooms. It's not really too hard. It's kind of like a basic setup, and that sounds like this. Now, it's important to note, on this intro track, I am playing with the volume set to 6, and I have it set to the humbucker as well. Humbucker, you know, obviously for that rock tone. 6 because anything more than 6, it's a bit much. I don't want that much drive, so I have it set to like 6 for like a crispier vintage sort of thing. And then on the second guitar, same thing, it's humbucker, but the volume's at 10. That's it for the guitar. Drums are a bit of a different story. It is the Superior Drummer 3. I have it set to the Premier Rock over here, and it is going through a couple things here. It's going through the Studer for some saturation. It's going through the Pro Q just for, you know, a little bit of a cut, a little bit of a boost. And it's going through the Decapitator and just for some drive. And this is being sent to a drum room, which is the same thing as Sound City Studios, but the drum setting, and it's also on reverb. That's what it sounds like. Now that we got all the tones out of the way, let's record a very similar version of the song. Okay, so that's the first guitar part recorded. It's not all the same parts, but it's kind of got like all 3 of the main sections. It's got the intro, that heavy part, and I guess it's got one more section like that. Like that part. So yeah, we're just gonna go through it with the second patch we've got now. Alright, so that is both the guitar parts done. Gonna hop into the drums now. Gonna make sure reduced latency is on when monitoring because there was a little bit of latency when I was playing. That's okay, I think I was on time for the most part. Alright, so now I'm going to improv the drums. I'm gonna use this drum pad right here, the drum patch from before, and should be not too hard. Alright, so there's the drums. Pretty simple. Kind of just, I just did one pass through. They're not amazing, but they're there. So now I got to do like a guitar solo sort of part. The solo in the song is kind of like, it's very strange. I guess it is guitar, but it was really hard to recreate. But I did a similar sort of guitar tone that'll also be included. It's also on 𝗕𝗘𝗄. It is down here. It's called the Highly Suspect 𝗕𝗘𝗠𝗕 Solo. Okay, so to break down this tone, it's the same sort of thing. It's got the blues driver, the fuzz face, it's got the tweed, but it's got no cab. It's not going through the cab. I removed the cab, some EQ, some delay, and some chorus, and some compression, which is actually off, so don't worry about that. Alright, next thing we need is some bass. I'm going to go into a contact library. I'm going to go for the pre-bass. Yeah. So I'm going to play this on the piano. So yeah. Alright, so let's make a bass patch now with Ableton stock stuff. Yep. Throw some multiband dynamics on there. Bit of saturation will do as well. Yeah. I'm gonna make a chain here, and I'm gonna throw a chorus on to widen it out a little bit. As always, we put an EQ before the chorus to cut out the lows. There we go. There we go, and then we'll do a regular chain with nothing on it. Alright, I'm going to throw a compressor on there now. I'm going to throw the glue compressor on there. Just even it out a little bit. Alright, so this bass patch will be available on the store. Yeah, I mean, 𝗕𝗘𝗠𝗕 is actually, when you listen to it, it's not very full of stuff. It's pretty much just two guitars, a little bit of like ambient sounds like chimes and stuff, and some bass and some drums. So we've pretty much got it here. I just want to fill out the mix a little bit more with some like back bus compression, which is basically sending the instruments to a bus or to a send with some heavy compression on it. So I'll show you how to do that really quickly. We'll use a stock compressor, might as well, just so you can follow along. I am going to throw the glue compressor. No, I'll throw the regular compressor on. If you're wondering why I choose the glue over the compressor, I don't really know. It's just kind of the vibe I get from them both. But anyway, so I'm going to send the guitars to it first. Send it all the way to my compressor. And then I want to there's not going to be a ton of difference in levels because the guitar is very, very overdriven anyway. So there's really not any like peaks and dynamics and stuff. But we'll send the bass to it as well, and you'll see. See that? So I want stuff like that. It's very, very heavy. Send the drums to it a little bit. All right, and then we will say how that sounds without it. And with it, just a bit more in your face. So without it, right, and with it. So it just adds like that little bit of oomph, I guess you can call it. So now the master is peaking. Let's do a bit of dynamics control. I'm going to check these drums and see what they are looking like here. Yeah, so we can definitely throw some sort of dynamic stuff on here. Let's just throw a limiter. I'm going to use a non-stock limiter just because the stock limiter is not that good. So let's do, or actually let's do some light compression with the distressor. I'm gonna set it to pretty limiter-ish. Limiting is like infinite to 1, but this is 20 to 1, so it's, I don't know, it's kind of close. Let's just set the input so that it's just hitting like 1 to 3, maybe not even 3, like 2-ish. I just want to catch those peaks. Yeah, and then we'll change the attack to 0. Bit much. Yeah, like that. And then we'll bring it up to where it is normally, which is pretty good. See, like on that tom hit, it hits a -5. That's a huge peak that we are now cutting. We can even try nuke. It's a bit too much, so something like that is pretty good. Let's layer that in with the guitars, see how that sounds. All right, now let's just do some general leveling with the guitars here. Now you can see the master channel actually isn't peaking. So let's check in mono real quick. This is a little mix checker plugin. It's free. It's on my store. You can get it. I use it all the time. You just enable it and choose what you want to check it through. So mono. Doesn't sound bad. Let's check through the NS10 setting. So there is a bit of a boost around 5K, I think, 3 or 5K for the NS10 stuff. But I am noticing it is really sharp. So I'm going to go into these guitars real quick. Go into here, and I'm just going to cut that one frequency that is annoying me here. Right there. I'm gonna just lower it dynamically. Yeah, so as opposed to this, it's now that. It's a bit cleaner. And that's what the NS10 setting is good for. But remember, there's a boost in the high mids, so if it feels like just a bit too much, then it's probably good, because there's a boost in the NS10. So if you take the NS10 off, there won't be that boost. All right, so let's check it on the phone. It's pretty good. I don't really use the phone too much. I usually just check it to see how it might sound if I'm doing like an Instagram reel or something. So let's turn everything off now. Yeah. That kick is hitting pretty hard. I think it's mainly because the room is there. Yeah. Cool. All right, I'm going to throw the entire thing through some tape. I'm going to choose the Studer just because it has nice coloration. So I just increased the output, so now it's clipping a little bit. It's okay if it clips a little bit. I'm going to throw a limiter on it anyway. So don't worry about that. As long as it's not clipping for the entire song, if it's only clipping on like little peaks that kind of pass by, it's good. So let's throw a Pro L on there. Yeah, it's just on those toms, which we know those toms are loud. Especially on a song like this, it's okay to like crush peaks and have it like distort a little bit, because it is a very kind of rough sounding song. Cool. All right, I'm going to check the entire thing through some multi-band dynamics here. I don't want the lows to sound like they're like a club EDM song. I don't need that much low in this song. Like, that's quite crazy. Don't really need that. We'll lower that quite a bit. That's fine. I don't need too much here. Good. I have no problem with that. A little bit over here. I'm gonna lower that a tiny bit. There we go, so just some broad tone shaping here for the master. Lastly, I'm going to throw on the Hitsfill mastering EQ for some MS processing. So I'm going to go mid-side, I'm going to go unlink, and we'll listen here. And I think that does it. So once again, all 3 guitar patches plus the bass patch will be available for purchase. It'll be super cheap. If you don't want to purchase it, you can just recreate what I did on the video, but they'll be cheap. They'll be like $5 on the store. The bass is completely stock. For the guitars, you're going to need THU by Overloud, which I heavily recommend anyway, and it's quite cheap. So yeah. Get that if you want. So yeah, let me know in the comments what video you want to see. And dry multi-tracks are available for members if you press the join button on the YouTube thing down there. It's just to practice your mixing. You get all these tracks, but they're completely dry and you can mix it yourself. But yeah, okay, cool. Bye-bye.